Now, where is my pepper? Did it sprout legs and run away? Ah, yeah. Now, where is my pepper? Did it sprout legs and run away? Ah, yeah. Now, where is my pepper? Did it sprout legs and run away? Ah, yeah. Now, where is my pepper? Did it sprout legs and run away? Ah, yeah. Now, where is my pepper? Did it sprout legs and run away? Ah, yeah. Now, where is my pepper? Did it sprout legs and run away? Ah,
Be Beyond these walls, the dead roam free, Hunter. Be vigilant. To leave the city is to venture into danger. Be careful, Source Hunter. To leave the city is to venture into danger. Be careful, Source Hunter.
Baking like a cake.
Warm
I could do
as
with a
dragon's
cold
breath.
drink. Rawr! That is, how can I help you, my friend?
Well, look what the cat dragged in. Good to see you. My brave troops were just telling me how they proudly vanquished the undead near the lighthouse. Did you get to witness my valiant soldiers in action?
Yep. Quite the pair of heroes you have there.
Bravest guards we've met, like lions.
Yes, I bet legionnaires can impress even source hunters. Now, as for my two braves here, you shall prepare to leave Sicil post-haste. You're going home, as is your just reward.
Thank you, Lieutenant. All in the day's work.
We'll have none of that. You hear?
Get to shining recruits.
Sorry, sir.
You think that's funny, Private?
Sir, no, sir.
Those boots and embarrass a bridge crew. Get to shining recruits.
Sorry, sir.
Those boots and embarrass a bridge crew. Get to shining recruits.
Sorry, sir.
You, again. Do feel free to depart from Sicil at your earliest convenience. What about it? Well, have you found any incriminating evidence against her? If so, let's have it.
Attention! About face! To the barracks! March! Recruits! That was sloppier than Sicilian stew. Again!
Thank the seven, we've secured the perimeter.
A good day to you.
Dearest customer, I've never seen an aura so plagued.
If you could choose the finest greens!
Here for your daily serving of veggie. Join the Spud Club if you've got an eye for farm potatoes.
Ain't a big cheese on your block with a wheel of the good stuff.
Let us see if you can choose the finest greens!
No better solution to the zombie problem than a set of silver arrows.
Not in the mood for cheese. That excuse is more holes than a slice of this fine Coleman bag.
Ain't straight, ain't true. Arrows by the dozens.
Aaron has as many friends as the man with many cheeses. Any takers? Come on, you chickens!
Ain't straight, ain't true. Arrows by the dozens.
Not in the mood for cheese. That excuse is more holes than a slice of this fine Coleman bag. With a wheel and a good stuff.
Fresh haddock. Perfect for a fry-up.
Let's see. Halibut, sheep's cheese, tomatoes. Let's see. Halibut, sheep's cheese, tomatoes.
Not in the mood for cheese. Their excuse is more holes than a slice of this fine almond there.
Get it while it's fresh. This batch is only hours from the sea.
Be the big cheese on your block with a wheel of the good stuff.
Fresh haddock. Perfect for a fry-up.
Aaron has as many friends as the man with many cheeses.
Good day.
Quiet day on the market, it seems.
Aaron has as many friends as the man with many cheeses.
Let's see. Halibut, sheep's cheese, tomatoes.
Not in the mood for cheese. Their excuse is more holes than a slice of this fine almond there.
Aim straight. Aim true. Harry's by the dozens.
Heavenly herring. Delicious dogfish. Yours for a scrap of gold each.
Aaron has as many friends as the man with many cheeses.
Let's see. Halibut, sheep's cheese, tomatoes.
Be the big cheese on your block with a wheel of the good stuff.
Heavenly herring. Delicious dogfish. Yours for a scrap of gold each.
Be the big cheese on your block with a wheel of the good stuff. Not in the mood for cheese. Their excuse is more holes than a slice of this fine almond there.
Red and orange, yellow and green, the finest veggies size seals ever seen.
Get it while it's fresh. This batch is only hours from the sea.
Red and orange, yellow and green, the finest veggies size seals ever seen.
Good day to you.
Quiet day on the market, it seems.
Aaron has as many friends as the man with many cheeses.
Watch the undead quiver in their mouldy boots.
Aaron has as many friends as the man with many cheeses.
Let us see if you can choose the finest greens.
Not in the mood for cheese. Their excuse is more holes than a slice of this fine almond.
Come now, Alistair. Surely you've met your match once or twice.
The closest I've got to my match is when I leave the river long past.
Leave me be, I have a job to do.
How gratifying to see you return. You are quickly becoming my favorite customer. That I am. I have spent more of my life on the road travelling alongside great caravans. You would no need to work. How gratifying to see you return. No need to. That I am. You wouldn't believe some. How gratifying to see you return. No need to worry, Source Hunter dearest. You'll find no sorcery here, only honest to God's witchcraft.
Greetings, Source Hunter. Not exactly the friendliest bloke, the captain, is he? Well, your reward for getting your ear chewed off is a waltz through the town's finest magical murder scene. Enjoy.
Bless the sun! I am restored!
What happened? Is this a dream?
I don't think so. That stone, somehow it sent us flying into the stars.
Terrible, terrible, terrible! It will consume us all. By the quill that lasts a billion words, what's this? 2 Rivalonians here? At
the end of space and time? How very, very, very curious. Perhaps my newfound comrade, but that is hardly our chiefest concern. We stand on a tiny vestige of space and time, and the ground is fast shrinking beneath our feet. It's good you appeared, however you did it, precisely when and where you did, or you might have found yourself free floating in empty space. Oh, but I suppose I should make a proper introduction. Zigzax the historian at your service. It is my job to record all that was and is, and hopefully all that is to be. Ah, at last a question I can answer most definitively. I mentioned already that this place is the end of time. If that didn't send your heart into your stomach and your pulse a-flutter, it should have. Time ought naturally to have no end at all. Indeed, I can think of no worse nightmare for a chronicler such as myself. But some show don't tell, I always say. So go, peer through yonder looking lens and feast your soon-to-be terrified eyes on the darkness that is approaching.
That imp may be quite mad.
Then we had better appease him and have a look through the looking lens.
You looked. You saw. Terrifying, isn't... What's this? The portal. It's... The portal. It's quite sprung to life, just like the long, dormant flames that decorate this observatory. After all my waiting and hoping, could it be? You, dear stranger, you must be the key. Something about your presence here is causing the end of time to grow. The true end itself to move further away. Those torches, a light! This portal active once more! It cannot be coincidence. It's not that I believe, it's that I have seen. Long have I been waiting here, hoping that one day this very portal would ignite. Then, no longer than a few mere moments after you arrive, zap it goes. The chronicler of time knows a pattern when he sees one. Goodness me, how right you are. There's so much to take in, I'd nearly forgotten. And what you saw has been haunting my mind since I first discovered it. It is the void itself. The dragon that is devouring creation. When I speak of the end of time, this is exactly what I mean. I can't say for sure where it came from, how or why, but I do know this. It's shrinking our future by the second. And if we don't stop it, it will devour the past and present as well. Ah, though I cannot say for certain, if it is what I believe, then our prayers might well be answered. In fact, every last question that ever plagued your noggin might well be answered, for I believe what lies beyond this portal is nothing other than... But why spoil the mystery? As soon as we leap through, we'll find out for certain. After you, after you. Oh, what wonders we may find on the other side. You first, but don't dilly-dally.
And he's off.
It seems the Emperor spotted exactly who and what he hoped to find here.
Could it be, milady? The weaver of time? Mother of history? Author of all that has ever been?
Indeed, Sir Imp. As surely as you are he who chronicles all that I weave.
Astounding! Unbelievable! I have so many questions for you, so much to ask, so much to say.
You have brought guests, I see. Strange.
My reaction exactly, milady. It was their arrival here at the end of time that instigated my finding you. But why? Surely you must know.
This is a question better put to our guests themselves. Tell us, how did you arrive upon this plane? If any other being in Rivellon asked me about the details of their comings and goings, I could describe them down to the minutest of details. But you are different. Of you I see nothing. I know nothing. So please, do tell me, how did you arrive here? A stone. So, it was a stone that caused the great shock of energy that brought you here, and it infused you with new life as well. Is that so? Not like this, no. What happened to you is unique in all my work. Never had I experienced something so contrary to my nature. To weave something I had not seen, had not expected. Life does not simply spring into existence, you see. But yours has. You appeared before me from the moment you came into contact with that stone. Starstone. I now know it to be called.
But, Madam Weaver, how is it possible? Do you not see all? Have you not woven all that is and could ever be into your tapestry?
Like the stones, your guests are a mystery to me. I see them before me in this world, but their likenesses appeared not upon my tapestry until they revived the stone. Source hunters, it would seem that yourselves and Starstone are inextricably linked. Why and how, I cannot say, but I do believe that finding more stones will reveal to me who you yourselves truly are. Starstone is not what it seems, Source Hunter. Its true nature must be part of a greater secret, a secret lost even to me. Do you see what violence my work has suffered? What wounds lay upon the tapestry of time?
Mysteries of all time, gaps in history. Oh, how they've tormented me for eons.
It would appear that Starstone transforms at your touch, granting me new thread by which to mend the tapestry. Thus, it restores time itself.
I see. What the void would shrink, Starstone restores.
Yes, though I cannot explain why this Starstone is the antidote to the void's ravishment of our realm. If we do not restore time, if we do not discover the true nature of these stones, the void will consume us all. Indeed you must, though I may not yet understand why. It seems that you and you alone can unlock the powers within Starstone. Yet we are not the only entities who know these stones to be so much more than pretty gems.
Why, of course, that's what they were doing. I have recorded their doings, you see. Collectors of Starstone, more and more by the day. Now I understand. They'd keep the stones from our reach. They'd prevent the mending of time.
Without these stones, Hunter, there will be no Rivellon. The entire tapestry will crumble. Even this plane will fall victim to the Void's insatiable hunger.
That shall never be, milady. As sure as Zix comes before Zax, we will put a stop to it. First we mend the tapestry, then we stop the Void. Please, our most mysterious guest, are you ready? Are you willing? Will you hunt out the stones? Will you help us restore what has been lost? So, what do you think?
What can I do for you, Source Hunter? Good.
Not but a moment ago, we were hunting Source in Rivellon, and now we're being told that we alone can prevent the end of time by way of some magical stones. What do you make of it?
So, what do you
We can't deny our reaction to Starstone. There must be something to all of this, mad as it may seem.
What'll it be, Source Hunter? Do tell! Come! I got something.
No matter how improbable, anything is possible.
Come! I got something for you if you're up to the challenge. What'll it be, Source Hunter? Do tell! So, what do you think, Source Hunter? 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 What'll it be, Source Hunter? Do tell! So, what do you... No, with you searching out Starstone, I believe we'll mend the tapestry in no time. We'll find out just who you are and how exactly to send the Void back to wherever it came from. But you'll need a way to travel between Rivellon and this homestead, won't you? Who wouldn't want to see what fantastic changes your search will yield? And who knows what the Weaver might discover about you? Luckily, the power of portals is known to you, so I'll let you in on the little secret of how to transport back and forth from the end of time. Just, don't go sharing it around. Never know who we can trust these days. Off you go then. You've Starstone to find, and I've a tapestry to examine. Surely there must be some clue here as to how on earth you're related to the end of time.
Cross my heart, hope to fade in the void, I honestly don't know. But ask her. If she claims it is so, perhaps she knows why.
Before you go, Source Hunter, a final word. Once you return to Rivellon, there will be someone waiting for you. My agent, my eyes and ears upon your world. I hope he'll be able to help you as much as he can. Time, I need hardly remind you, is of the essence. I wonder, do you know more about the Void? What it is? What lies at the heart of it?
What lies at its heart? Why, nothing, of course. The great absence of all that even the gods cannot comprehend. It eludes us, like infinity, or the finality of tick-tocking time.
The Lady of Time, the Weaver of History. I am your biggest fan, dear lady. Could I get your autographs?
It shall be my pleasure, Sir. I'll embroider it in the first volume of your all-encompassing chronicles.
A question has me stumped, milady. Why are there two of us? Two beings that record all of history parallel to one another.
That...
Wouldn't it just like from what ruins, caves, the lairs of long-forgotten evils, lonesome, well, neither do I. This we may not oh, I don't, but so. I wonder, do you know more about the Void? What it is? What lies at the heart of it?
What lies at its heart?
I have the last chest. The last chest. The last chest! If you believe yourself worthy of rifling through my ample treasures, I do dare you to prove it! Find my four sisters, no more than one in each of the realms of your wide world, and each by each, you'll discover how to open me!
A question has me stumped, milady. Why are there two of us? Two beings that record
Rawr! That is, how can I help?
To see you on the shelter plane. A home away, like the imp said to the ballista operator. Shoot! Wouldn't it just? Would that I had a Starstone sightseeing guide, but just like yourselves, Starstones from what? Ruins, caves, the lairs of long-forgotten evils. Those are the dens you should frequent. Neither do I. Listen, we may not understand. Oh, I don't. But so, Gath, loans. Well, yeah, perhaps.
How might I serve our mission?
Source Hunters, I welcome you once again to the realm of Rivellon after your travels through the chasms of space. Nice to have found a shelter, wouldn't you agree? Where you can come to no harm. I know the imp historian has told you about his agent on Rivellon, and that agent is I. So now that you know of the alliance between me and Sir Zigzax, let us turn to the business at hand. Starstone. And I'll be delighted to give it. Dark webs are being woven around these parts, and it is my firm belief starstones are the flies the sorcerer spiders are trying to catch. It can therefore hardly be a coincidence that Councillor Jake was a collector of the stones we seek. His foul murder and the plight of dying time must somehow be interconnected. That means the task you have been given remains crucial. Find the assassin that did away with Jake, for you're bound to stumble upon Starstone along the way. While you were being lectured by our friend the historian and the grande dame of time, I snuck into his house and had a look around. The advantage of being a cat, you know. You go where you please with impunity. And sometimes the lady of the house even rewards you with a slice of fresh herring. That's where I saw them in a cabinet. Mere slivers, but specks of starstones nonetheless. They lay there, silent and innocent, though bloody murder may have been committed in their name. Don't we all long for a sanctuary where our worldly troubles can be held at bay? A bed or a basket so snug it becomes, in a word, safety. But perhaps I speak only for myself, not for veterans such as yourselves that by necessity call any patch of ground they rest upon home. Like any cat worth its salt, though, I deeply cherish a secret refuge unbeknownst to anyone. To be able to repose without a care is such a precious circumstance, save it all too seldomly. Let me phrase it like Zigzags might. A universe without time is like a pen without ink, a pointless instrument stripped of the potential of creation. It is void. I'll not pretend to have all the answers, or that I understand all that is happening here and out there among the stars, but I do know I'd rather err on the side of caution. If Zigzags worries, I worry. We are talking about a creature, after all, that has reclined among the divines as nonchalantly as you and I lays beside the hearths of home. I met him first, a long time ago, out in the wastes of Youthful Gore. He wondered aloud what on earth a cat was doing out there in the scorching desert, then shared what little food and water he had with him. So I told him who I was and showed him my human form. He laughed and marveled and told me stories about his travels. In the end, he even shared his great sorrow with me. The unspeakable thing you saw through his looking lens. I was awed and frightened, but swore to help him in any way I could. As of now, that includes helping the two of you. Oh, before you go, here, take this teleporter pyramid. A handy toy indeed that Zigzags asked me to give to you. You'll need the other one too if you want to make use of its powers, but alas, I seem to have misplaced it. Don't worry though. Use this one here and it'll take you straight to its twin. Now that this matter has been settled, hunters, I shall detain you no longer. But rest assured, I'll do my share of hunting too. So if you spot a white cat during your travels, do stop to say hello.
What is going on here? First I have to shoo away a creeping white tomcat, and now there's a perfect stranger in my bathroom. Get out, will you? Little mix-up indeed. I don't know what you and that horrible little imp are planning, but leave my bathroom out of it.
That's what you get for trying.
Lucky find!
Out! No!
If she
you
soaks in
please.
flower stink much
This room
longer,
is
deer will
private.
smell this lady from a field away. I'll save a leg of something good for when she begins to starve.
Actually, why don't you join
just
her?
stand
Not
there.
for any
Go!
titillating reasons,
Away with you!
but because you could do with a dab of floral perfume about that quaintly odorous physique of yours.
What are you still doing here? Begone!
Interesting devices, these pygmies among pyramids. They may be small of stature, but their potential is gigantic. Deceivingly clever. It is a trait all demonic machinations share. Yes, demonic. So very obvious to the trained eye. These apparatuses have been forged among the voids of the outer realms, where the light of stars does not reach. You do well to treat them with the utmost care. Perhaps it would even be for the best if you sling them into the reaches of infinity that surround the shelter plane. Better safe than sorry. It is an uncommonly trite thing to say, but it applies to all things demon-dreamt and devised.
Don't just stand there. Go! Away with you! What are you still doing here? Begone!
So I shall. Always remember, Hunter, always, that when demons are in play, you are the hunted. And that it takes stupendous cunning and strength to escape their snares. The very moment you are certain you have them in your grip, that is the moment their traps spring, and it is their grip that shatters your soul. Dueling with demons is like playing chess against an opponent with queens for pawns. They sit and grin, while your pieces slip in the sweaty fear that drops from your beleaguered brow.
No, if you please. This room is private. Don't just stand there. Go!
Another perfect heist. You sneak with the subtlety of a tried and true cat burglar.
What are you still doing here? Begone!
Why, thanks. I rather do, don't I? Few more heists, and I'll be a fat cat in no time.
No doubt about it. You're...
This room is private. Don't just stand there. Go! Away with you!
I dance within the shadows. You look, but you cannot see.
If only the popular girls from the Source Academy could see how edgy and dangerous you've become.
Oh, golly gosh! One who flaunts the highways and byways of silly old Cecile with the easy elegance of a puss with her tail in the air. I do declare such a sight is rather rare around here. But where are my manners? I am Maxine, and you must be one of those hunters one hears so much about. Charmed, I'm sure. I'm the mayor's cat, don't you know? Born and raised on velvets and viands of most exquisite varieties. Maxine rhymes with queen, after all, and dearest. That is hardly a coincidence. But of course, darling, be my guest. Oh, this quaint little town is a tad too parochial for heavens forbid. Oh, you haven't left town yet, have you? But of course, darling. Be my...
Jageta, friend.
We'll have none of that, you hear?
Nemrus is the greatest philosopher in the land, you know. I'd give me left whiskers to be half as smart as him.
Those fools will embarrass a bridge troll. Get to shining recruits.
Sorry, sir.
You think that's funny, Private? Sir, no, sir. You think that's funny, Private? Sir, no, sir.
Ah, the Source Hunter. Oh, joyous. Oh, still not finished with the... Cat... Brava. How... We are... I'd say... Yeah.
Paris a brick's throw. Get the shining brick. I am a duke, potato-eating peasant.
Never saw you in the king crab before. You're welcome to scratch me behind the ears if you like. I won't scratch back. I am Unsinkable Sam. At least that's what they call me around here. Used to be a ship's cat, but the clipper I was on sank, and I was the only one to wrestle himself free from the waves. The people here were kind and took me in. Been the king crab's foremost patron ever since. A magnificent ship she was. Used to belong to a pirate, I was told. Unlike me, she didn't prove to be unsinkable, though. We hit the cliffs right neath the lighthouse. Not very apt a name for that building, I must say, for no light was shining from it. The moment I hit the water, I writhed around like I would on a hot tin roof. By some miracle, I managed to reach the beach, covered in kelp and smelling worse than a fish's funeral parlor. But I was alive, and that was more than anybody else could say. So I was. What friends I had, they drowned alongside the rats I used to hunt in the galley. And there I was, all alone. Not that I have it bad here, mind you. I've milk and fish aplenty. Most folks will pet me kindly, and when one of the village girls holds me tight against her ample bosom, I purr up a storm. But I do long for a companion of my own kind, and in that regard, there is no one like Maxine. Maxine, the mayor's darling pet. So gentle, so fair a feline. The grace of her whiskers, the subtle palette of dyes in her sable coat. She's one of a kind, that cat. She likes me. I know she does. But when I declare my love, she backs away. I don't know why. I have serenaded her and braved many a bucket of water for my efforts. But for some reason, she is not to be swayed. By all means. People make a fuss about them because they endanger the lands around the city. They never bother me when I'm out for my monthly walk, though. But still, I do detest them. I mean, they're so unnatural, aren't they? Cats can have 9 lives, but humans are only entitled to 1. Oh, don't mention orcs to me. Worse than dogs, that lot. Sank Walrus Willie's boat right from under him. Best anchovy fisher in the world he was. A loss to us all.
Such things. You'll be concerned enough when you realize that reward money won't be in my
That's enough of that now.
It's official. The Duke of Ferrol is the worst poet in Rivellon.
In his defense, not much rhymes with murder.
And so we meet yet another adulterous harpy. No doubt she's guilty as sin.
A wolverine would have a more forgiving fuse.
Fortune! Ha! He should be so lucky as to be defeated by Alistair the Great.
They say he's privy to ancient and arcane secrets.
Ah, hello. I suppose you're here to viciously interrogate me for information I don't have, like our noble Captain Aureus before you. It's very tragic news. I won't posture and say that the Chancellor and I were anything near allies, but I truly never wish the man harm. Which one? I've written, Esmeralda, more works of lyrical mastery than I can count. All that letter proves is my devotion to my lady, not any actual intention to do away with Jake. I am the Duke of Ferrol, though I suppose my name is in the mouths of enough ruthless gossipers that you've heard of me by now.
Sweet relief.
So, what's the bad news? More orcs rampaging through the docks? Or have those infernal statues sent another soul flying to his death? Sad story, that. Though if I'm speaking plainly, the sentimental aspect of it all doesn't make much of an impression on an undertaker. Especially not these days, with so many laid low by the orcs and such like. I just concern myself with giving the remains a respectable exit from life. We set him to rest in the northern graveyard. Perhaps he can finally get a little peace. What about it? Didn't I just say we gave it a respectable send-off? Why are you giving me the 3rd degree? Now, if you don't mind, I'm trying to run a business here.
The death man is nervous as a squirrel. I'm certain he's hiding something.
You may be right. I suspect he has much more than mere skeletons hiding in his closets.
The sun is out. Looks like that dog is awfully agitated. Is he trying to tell me something?
Jake, where are you? Are you here, Jake? Jake! Jake? Where are you? Are you here, Jake? Jake!
Dynamic force!
Let us make them pay, friends. Ugh, I'm dripping.
Submit to my chilly embrace.
Surrender to my leeching embrace!
Battering ram!
Here lies David, who ran from the Reaper. You'll never catch me alive.
May the seven keep you. Rest in peace, darling. Peace be with you, traveller. May your lost loved ones rest in peace. I once lived a prosperous life with my husband and our lonely never she were killed. Rest in peace, darling.
fading. Fast.
Soaked to the skin.
Bless the seven! I am restored!
Here lies Jared. Shall I come back as an enraged spirit? Here lies Jared. Shall I come back as an enraged spirit? Or a lovable prankster ghost?
Oh, it goes to and fro with the city's youth. They hustle and bustle.
Here lies Neil, killed in the line of duty. I want to go home. Here lies Gregory, whose wife told him so.
I needed that.
I feel cold inside my soul. Crocks of years.
Here lies Judith, warrior princess.
So, what's the bad news? More orcs rampaging through the docks? Or have those infernal statues sent another soul flying to his death? A sheep? That's a whole heap of nonsense. Don't bother me with such wild tales. I suppose you're right. At least if I tell you myself, you'll hear the proper account of things. I buried that blasted sheep, but I swear on my lucky left foot I had nothing to do with that body disappearing. 1 minute it was on my slab, you see. I left the room for just a moment to answer the bell in the front parlor, and when I returned, the body was simply gone. In its place was a sack containing more gold coins than I could even count. The message was clear. Silence is golden. My business has been declining right alongside the rest of our blighted city. And that sack of gold was worth more than I made during one of the good years. I needed cash, and someone needed my silence. I knew I had to bury something or risk being found out. So that night, I stole into the market and made off with Bertia's fattest sheep. It was a bloody waste to stick so much fine meat into the ground to rot, but it had to be done. The next day, the pallbearers retrieved Jake's coffin, sealed to hide the body's terrible wounds, none the wiser that within the casket lay nothing more venerable than a slaughtered beast. Now, you can imagine I've spent more than my share of restless nights wondering who could have wanted that cadaver and for what purpose. I'm not an inch closer to imagining the why, but I've got a few inklings as to the who. Near as I can reckon, there are only 4 people who could have been involved. Mayor Cecil, Captain Aureus, Theleron's apprentice Evelyn, and Esmeralda. Plenty of us shopkeepers entrust the mayor with the spare keys to our businesses, you know. And he's the only person in town with a second copy of the key to the mortuary. He could have used it to sidle in without a peep, if he were so inclined. Aureus himself paid me a visit the night the body was delivered. Came rapping at my door in the frosty morning before the sun had even started peeping, and told me to tell him, and only him, if I noticed anything strange or suspicious about the remains. Can't see why he'd bothered to go through all that trouble, unless he knew something the rest of us don't. I know it sounds strange suspecting the doctor's apprentice of something so ghoulish as this, but there's few in this city could manage to transport a corpse without raising eyebrows. It was she who delivered Jake's body from the inn to the mortuary, and there was something about her that night, some kind of excitement. Seemed she could barely contain her thoughts, that there was something thrilling about to happen. I can't quite settle it in my mind how a young medical professional would have such a strange reaction to an occasion such as that. And this may or may not have anything to do with the whole rigmarole. But her master, Dr. Theleron, bought an old shack of mine, one overtaken by undead, for an exorbitant price considering what he was getting. I never did figure what he wanted it for, but he sure seemed eager. I never saw a widow less distraught at the death of her husband, and I've seen hundreds pass through my parlor. It was she who rang my bell just before the body was snatched, lured me outside claiming she needed air, before discussing the funeral arrangements. Some accomplice could have sneaked in and grabbed the remains while I was comforting the oh-so-overcome Esmeralda. That gold's the only good thing to come out of this blasted affair, and I certainly plan on making some use of it. Pillar of the community? Ha! Half this city doesn't know my name, and the other half regards me as the spirit of death itself. I'll keep my reward, thanks, and the community can think whatever it wants. That's enough of that now!
wing of worm, brew and spice and
Excuse me? This is a private sick room. Who in the name of the Seven do you think you are barging in here? Out, I say, right this instant. I'm sorry. It's this task. I'm just... Who am I to meddle with life and death this way? I'm an apprentice of the healing arts. Healing! But this decision feels like precisely the opposite. I have but one healing stone, you see, and 2 direly wounded men who need it. I've been racking my brain trying to decide on the best method to settle this grave situation, but perhaps it's better off in the hands of an esteemed source hunter. Surely you are more accustomed to weighing life and death than I. What would you like to know? One of the brave few willing to traverse the trade routes plagued by the undead. A young man, but excellent in matters of business, before he fell victim to an orcish club in the north, that is. Thankfully for him, a cattle trader found him, nearly dead, but not quite so, and brought him here straight away. Quite the venerable staple of Sisko, Stephen, and recently blessed with his 3rd grandchild. He was leading a crew of builders when a stray beam struck him in the temple, and only a few days shy of his last day of work before retirement, no less. Nearly everyone in Sisko is familiar with grinning Stephen, and, as you can imagine, he's quite dear to his family. You are? I thank you 1,000,000 times for your help.
Stephen should receive the stone. We know full well the difficulty of growing up without a family.
That tone, soothing a corpse's troubled mind. Can't have gotten far.
Boris has an entire life ahead of him. We're giving him 40, 50 more years, while Stephen only has half as many left to him.
Those men hardly sound long for this world. What's taking Tenderfoot so long?
Imagine the joy on his wife's face, his children's faces when Stephen returns to them. Isn't that a scene you'd like to see?
If you try to take Boris's life from him, I'll take an orcish club to you myself.
Those men hardly sound long for this world. What's taking Tenderfoot so long? Tone, soothing a corpse's troubled mind. Can't have gotten far.
No, we'll do as I say.
No, this is highly
thank you.
What is this? This lightning!
I don't know what I did to deserve it, but I'm beyond grateful.
Leave me. I don't want to spend my final moments with the devil who snatched my life away from me. And I curse your every footstep.
Oh, my savior. I owe you everything, you know, everything. Well, I think my wife will just about faint. My son, a grown man, mind, will spring into my arms like he were a little boy, and my grandkids will ask what present I bought him. Oh, to see their smiling faces again. Goodbye, then, my hero.
Oh, I know it's here somewhere. I wouldn't want to ruin this particular batch of party elixir with too much wormwood.
I don't know what I did to deserve this, but I'm beyond grateful.
Soothing a corpse's troubled mind. Can't have gotten far.
Sorry, friend. I wish there were enough stones for both of us. Sorry, friend. I wish there were enough stones for both of us.
She'll realize soon enough that her little party tricks hardly make her worthy of such...
Thank you eternally for your help. Though your reaction to the healing stone, I have no idea what to make of it. Is that so? Well, I handled the corpse myself, indeed, but I hardly knew the man in life. I was shocked when Ahu asked me to come to the crime scene, but Theliron had taken ill, and the responsibility fell to me. I arrived at the inn, where the body lay just where it had fallen. The injuries were like nothing I'd ever seen. A single intricate laceration wove like lace around every inch of his skin. Neither a beginning nor an ending point were discernible. I examined the corpse and recorded what information I could. I personally delivered the corpse the short distance to the mortician's house. As far as I know, everything was, as far as a magical murder is concerned, quite normal. That strange reaction you caused. Blue lightning from a healing stone? I've never seen anything like it. And the stone looks different now, too. Like it's devoid of life. I begin to wonder if its magical properties survived your little reaction. I've been studying under Theliron for some time now, but that task, being asked to play the gods, was the first time I've ever questioned my, well, suitability for the work. I've a passion for this work, you see. A passion to see things put in order, from a flesh wound healed to an entire city made resistant to a fatal illness. What right has something as trivial as a wound or as senseless as an epidemic to take a...
I feel no pleasure in bidding you farewell, friend. I feel...
I've spotted something.
Bleeding waste standing here without so much as a source hunters, eh? All right, proper, we're finally getting a hand. Things is chaos. If you've got a favourite sheep, best to fry her up now before she gets thieved in the night like me dear plump Ogget, the finest in me herd. Oh, Ogget, you're rotten to the bone. Oh, me poor, sweet, plump girl. You've been wasted entirely. All that roast, all the mutton, not even the sausage grinder will want her now. Give her here, will you? Me little mouldering darling. That louse. Did he even bother grilling a single luscious chop? I bet he wasted every last morsel. Captain Aureus will have a thing or two to say about this.
This is intolerable. The momentum of time is slipping through our hands, and you fritter it away on conversations about decomposing mutton. Focus, Source Hunter, focus!
What? Oh, it's you! What news? Jake? Murdered, you say? Oh, yes. Yes, of course. Now I remember. Well, I'm sure the facts will prove me innocent. Keep investigating. You'll see for yourselves in time. My elf? What elf? Oh, myself. I am Cecil, Mayor of Syceal, and husband of the stately Cecilia. I've been the mayor here for decades, and I'm quite eager to see Syceal through these difficult times. Yes, very difficult times indeed. Maxine? What in heaven's name are you? Oh, you mean the mongrel that's always skulking about the place. I spent months trying to teach that worthless hound how to fetch, and it sat through every lesson looking at me as if I were an idiot. Man's best friend, my eye. I've always been more fond of cats myself. My dear girl, my darling adopted daughter, my pride and joy. I introduced her to my library when she was a girl. She quickly proved that the preconceptions we humans hold of orcs as savage beasts are patently false. If you're looking for something special, just ask. She knows every book by heart.
Oh, you haven't left town yet, have you? Oh, he's a darling old Tom, isn't he? Paws over tails in love with me, and who can blame him? The feeling's, well, it's rather mutual, actually. But that pet of a puss simply doesn't have a penny to his name. At the risk of sounding as shallow as a spaniel, I can't but admit my love does not come unconditionally. What if we were to have kittens, he and I? They'd jolly well starve, wouldn't they, with an alley cat for a papa? Oh, dear Sam, he's such a good old bean. But he does rather reside at the bottom of the scratching pole, doesn't he? And dear me, one must have at least a mite of standards.
Ah, cats.
Spiritless.
What grace they have. Magnificence incarnate.
Not a lot of meat on her, is there? Someone ought to fatten her up if they want to get a good meal out of her.
Red and orange, yellow and green, the finest veggies Syceal's ever seen. Let us see if you can choose the finest greens!
Assure me, dear Septimus, that you haven't been fighting those awful orcs. I can't bear to imagine something would happen to you.
Oh, but don't you worry, lady. We legionnaires are highly trained soldiers who fear neither orc.
Lords above, grant me patience. You're a source, like I told just about every legionnaire in... So what happened?
some of them tittle-tattling, oh, don't put stock in the hastily scribbled words of a lovelorn fool. This letter, it was a show of passion. A poorly worded passion I did not echo in the least. The Duke, he's like a spoiled child. He's not a man. He's not like Septimus. I am Esmeralda, wife of Jake, and now, alas, his widow. Poor man. We were both so young when we married. He so rich and I so poor, but his one and only princess just the same. Starstone? I've never heard of such a thing. Dear Jake had a mineral collection, yes. As far as I knew, it was one of his pastimes, nothing more. Do you mean to imply he collected something dangerous? Something that may have gotten him into trouble? Oh, this is all too much. I feel like I'm drifting from nightmare into nightmare. Well, what do you want to know?
She seems to be quite adamant about her innocence.
We'll need to look for evidence if we want to prove she actually did the evil deed.
It's heating up.
Attention! About face!
Hunter says that creep Robert stole my sheep.
And?
Well, aren't you going to arrest that stinking thief?
I'll have a talk with him, madam. Oh, what now? Yes. Discovered anything? Well, have you found any incriminating evidence against her? If so, let's have it. Like I said, the girl's known to be a flirt. But that sob of a feral doesn't have the mettle to commit murder. And as far as I'm concerned, neither has she. It was stolen? Gods, what a fool that Roberts is. Taking a bribe in beleaguered old Sicil. Ah, what was he going to do with that gold? Buy the largest kipper in the land? He has a lot to answer for. But not as much as the one that did the bribing in the first place. Evelyn? Master Theriron's apprentice? Nice lass, huh? Brewed me a potion once that cured me of a rash more bothersome than a badger down your breeches. No, she doesn't seem like the type to play hide-and-seek with stiffs to me. You suspect the mayor? Dear me, you couldn't be further from the mark if you lay the blame on a paraplegic cow. The man raised a foundling orc out of the goodness of his heart, you dolt. A murder indeed. You dare stand here and accuse me of involvement in this sordid affair? You dare accuse a captain of the Legion? Get out! Out! Before I have my men erect a gallows and string up a sauce piñata! You, again. Do feel free to depart. Yes? Discovered anything? It was stolen? Yes, yes. Well, I assume it hasn't crawled back to its grave. So have you found any suspect? Well, have you found any incriminating evidence against her? If...
That's funny, Private. Sir, no, sir. Those boats are embarrassed at bridge crew. Get to shining recruits.
Sorry, sir.
Attention! About face! To the barracks! March! Recruits! That was sloppier than Sicilian stew. Again! Those boots are embarrassed at bridge crew. Get the shining recruits.
Sorry, sir. Thank the Seven, we've secured the perimeter.
Toe of snake, wing of worm, brew and spice 'em, stir and churn. Toe of snake, wing of worm, brew and spice 'em, stir and churn. Toe of snake, wing of worm.
If you've got a favourite sheep, best to...
Horn.
So ardently did he crave cream blues and gory
Lonesome, spiritless, perhaps wrestling an earth elemental will inject some vim into your routine. Red and orange, yellow and green, the finest techniques Sicilia's ever seen.
Join the Spud Club if you've got an eye for farm potatoes.
On the move for cheese. The excuse is more home than a slice of this fine almond
Toe of snake, wing of worm, brew and spice 'em, stir and churn.
Let us see if you can choose the finest